Alright y'all, so look, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, we're gonna be talking about UFC matchups they need to make happen in 2024. You know, in this video, I put together a list of matchups that could possibly happen this year and would be absolute bangers and magical fights to happen in the year of 2024. So with the intro finished, let's get right on into it. So first things first, we got my 5th ranked fight on the list, Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira, the rematch. And basically, it is what it is. Charles, the People's King, versus the inbred king himself, Islam Makhachev. This rematch has been a long time coming, with it actually being scheduled for late last year for the UFC 294 main event. But unfortunately, Charles Oliveira did get badly injured, with Alexander Volkanovski the Great having to step in. I also believe that this rematch all do Bronx fans need before we all fall to our graves, and to potentially see Charles starch out that Dagestani inbred rat clean the fuck out would be one of the best things to happen in 2024. That's basically enough said for this fight. I mean, yeah, it is a rematch, and Charles did lose the first time, but this second time, Charles is going to go back to the drawing board, you know, clean up his mistakes, and potentially get the sub or the knockout this rematch. And that's what we're praying for. On to the next fight, we got Colby Covington versus Ian Cuck Gary. And you know, this is honestly a fight I put together as a Colby Covington fan, or you can say former fan, after that disgusting performance he put on against Leon Edwards in December. After talking all that dog shit about someone's dead father. Like, dog, he's fucking dead. How are you gonna talk about a man's dead fucking father and go out and put an absolute shit show? What the fuck? Dog, after the press conference, I was like, okay, weird comeback, but maybe he's gonna beat his brains out in the fight. That would maybe make up for that shitty ass fucking take. And he didn't. So Colby Covington's career is now dead, but I'm going to resurrect it with this fight against Ian Cuck Gary. And I don't know where I stand with Colby Covington right now, but I can say for a fact that a fight between him and the Cuck of the UFC would be an absolute spectacle. Not only would this fight be an absolute clash of styles, but the week leading up to this fight would be absolutely magical. With Ian Cuck Gary in the corner, like, sit down, shoot up.
Sit down, shoot up.
And Colby Covington with his written lines like fucking raw American steel and twisted sex appeal, or some fucking Marty fake newsman, street Judas, we've got unfinished business, there's nowhere to run and there's nowhere to hide. Some corny ass bullshit like that. But not to mention, Colby Covington can fraud check the fuck out of Ian Gary, and with a dominant enough performance, he can potentially get slingshotted to his 4th ever title shot, so we can maybe, just maybe, get the People's Champ, America's champion, and Donald Trump's favorite champion back once again. Now on to my 3rd ranked matchup for this list. I got Jon Jones versus Tom Aspen. Alright, look, I already know that Mr. Jones is out with a tit injury, but when he comes back, instead of fighting old man Stipe, who's miles past his prime and hasn't fought a single fight in the last 3 years since he fought Francis Ngannou, where he got folded like a fucking lawn chair, and is now an honorable fireman and fucking family man who doesn't even care about the sport anymore. I want Mr. Picograms to fight Tom fucking Aspinall, the actual interim champion. You know, Tom is like the new breed of heavyweight and not one of those 300-pound ogres with 4-ounce gloves on. That's what I honestly think Mr. Johnny Turnbull Jones is afraid of. Instead of fighting the rightful deserving #1 contender and interim champion in Tom Aspinall, he wants a layup finish in Stipe and Miocic so they can both have a double retirement, so they can ride off into the sunset and shit. I think that's honestly super cowardice coming from the so-called GOAT of the sport, you know, in Jon Jones. And how can you even call him the GOAT of the sport when he got caught doing steroids and PEDs like 3 times consecutively? Like, what the fuck? But that's, you know, a topic for a different day. This is the rightful fight to happen, and, you know, the UFC gotta make it happen ASAP before, you know, Jon Jones gets too old and just says no. You know what I mean? Or fucking Stipe, like, breaks a fucking hip. You know what I mean? These guys are old as fuck. We need to see Jon Jones, Johnny Bones, the so-called GOAT Jones, go against the actual deserving #1 contender in the interim champion, Tom Aspinall. This needs to happen. on to our next fight. We got my second ranked fight on the list. Conor the Notorious McGregor versus Iron Mike Chandler. And look, this fight has been a long time coming, about a year and a half now, to be exact. And you know what I mean? No more roids, no more movies, and no more Lamborghini yachts. We want this fight to be made, and we want it fucking now. I don't know why the UFC keeps stalling this fucking fight, as if they didn't fucking put so many goddamn resources and money in order to make this fucking happen. A whole ass tough season for the coaches never to fucking 1v1. This fight gotta happen this year or it's fucking dead. Put it on fucking UFC 300 for fuck's sake. We're already liking a goddamn main event, so you might as well just slide this shit right the fuck in to make it happen. And that's that. Book Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor for UFC 300. Make it the main event. Or we owe you up, Dana White. Point blank fucking period. For my last but certainly not least, number one matchup that the UFC gotta make by the end of 2024. You guessed it, it's Khamzat Chimaev versus Israel Adesanya. And this fight has also been a long time coming since Khamzat got injected into the middleweight division. And all bias aside, I honestly think this fight can either go either way. I honestly don't see this fight going the full 5 rounds. It's either Izzy brutally KOs Khamzat or Khamzat goes all out in an attempt to pop Izzy's head off in the first round. But all I do know is that this fight would be an absolute banger of a performance from both guys and will be absolutely crucial for the middleweight division going forward. But all I do know is that the boards is being fed, and this fight would be an absolute spectacle for the both of them. So that wraps up my list for UFC matchups that need to happen this year. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.